Welcome back, everybody. We're back with another episode of Nick and Manny's Infinite Podcast. I'm here by myself today. Nick is not here. He has work and some other
I'm
stuff.
Nick.
Yeah, this is
Did
Nick.
Did I spoil this?
This is my friend Gabe. He has a YouTube channel, HereBeGabe. Gabe, introduce yourself.
My name is Nick. I don't know what you're talking about. This man is full of lies. He sits on a throne of lies, as that one gif I used yesterday said.
Where's that from? Oh, that's Elf. That's Elf.
Is that what it? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. It was Will Ferrell, because I do gifs for the edits I do sometimes, and one of them was like a lie, so I typed lie, and there's this sitting on a throne of lies things. You're right. It's Elf, and it's gonna be Christmas in a month or whatever.
It's gonna be Christmas. I'm very excited for this. I don't
For
care
Christmas?
for Halloween. Yeah, I don't care for Halloween, so I'm very excited for Christmas.
I don't. Okay, that's cool.
Gabe's here. I brought him on because we have a couple of things that we want to talk about. It's really only two things. One is the Silk Sonic album, and then the other one is Forza. But before we get into that, Gabe, talk a little bit about yourself and your expertise.
Should have warned me. Expertise? None. Existing? I'm great at existing. I've spent 30 some odd years on this lifeless planet just scavenging. Not really. No, I edit videos for a couple of YouTube channels, you know, a couple big, well, yeah, I don't know, they're decently big channels, I guess. But no, I just edit and I just play games sometimes at night, and I try to stop nosebleeds. Manny, my nose has been bleeding so much this week. I don't know why.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Just, and it's always the left side. If anyone knows how to stop my nosebleeds, let me know, please.
I had that same thing growing up because I had my right nose would always bleed, and so I had to get cauterized. So now I only bleed out of my left.
Well, for me, it's only my left. We're nosebleed brothers.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, the nicest person ever, but not really, but kind of. I'm cool, man. I'm cool. Wedding stuff happening. That's stressful.
You got your wedding coming up next month.
Yeah, it's stressful, dude. You know what the worst part about that is? I'm clearly not famous, as you know. But I wanted to do that thing that famous people do, where they take away everyone's phones when they go into the wedding, not because of like, oh, paparazzi pictures. No, I clearly don't give a damn about that. But I don't know, like, to me, it's just like distracting, and they're like, and I won't feel like disrespected or whatever. But like, what if everyone's just on the phone because we're so boring? Like, I wanted to see if I could avoid that, so I wanted to take everyone's phone at the door. I wasn't allowed. I got. Well, to be clear, I'm not allowed to do anything. They just told me to show up at this point. But that's been stressful.
I mean, all the weddings that I've been to, I've never seen anyone on their phone, really. It also depends on how long you're going to make the ceremony. Because I've been in ceremonies where they're like 20 minutes, and then I've been in ceremonies where they're like an hour. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, end this already.
Well, no, dude. I want the phones gone the entire time. Like, past the ceremony, like, into the party.
Gotcha.
Like, I want people to just be, like, talking to each other. I want people to just forget about technology. No, why are we talking about this? It's my fault. I brought it up. But, yeah, I just thought it would be nice to just have everyone kind of in the moment instead of just, like, be on their phones and you know, try to put stuff on Instagram or whatever. But, you know, whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah, technology's a beast. Anyways, we're here to talk about a couple things. First thing, Silk Sonic. Now, leading up to this, you and I have both been anticipating it because since March, the two of us have just been like, yo, this album, it's going to be good. We both like, dude. Bruno. We both like Anderson. So it's just like, we've been anticipating this. By the time that this episode comes out, it will be out for everyone. So we heard it. I have really good things to say about it. Gabe, I want to hear your thoughts first.
Dude, it's like, aside from like my one complaint that I have with everything in life these days, which is like, it's like so clean and polished. You got to expect that with these two. It's Bruno and it's Anderson. Like, clean and polished is kind of their thing, especially Bruno. But dude, like, there's some gems on there. There's a couple things that maybe don't like do it for me, but other than that, I love sonically. I'm so clever. Just sonically, it's just very like soothing. It makes me want to get up and dance, and I dance sometimes. You know, I almost slip in the shower sometimes doing it. I love that it's not overly long. I like that it's 9 songs, but that same thing makes maybe the 2 that I don't like. This turns it from a 9-song album to a 7-song album for me, because I'm gonna just not put them on my phone or whatever. I'll remove them from the album on Apple Music, and that'll be that. But my big takeaway is that like this is a fantastic project, but they can't do this very often. I don't know what the plan is.
I don't know
like,
either.
How do you like do it every like couple years? Like you drop something like this on top of Bruno being Bruno and Anderson? No way. Like I think this is just like a one-off, and it's fantastic. It is. I love it.
There were some other like people saying like, well, it's 9 tracks, so maybe they'll repurpose any of the tracks that they didn't use into their own like albums. So if like there's a song that fits Anderson more, maybe he'll put it on his next one, or same thing with Bruno. But I'm completely there with you. I think this album, it's just, I had texted you earlier, I'm like, the album is just smooth. Like, it's just one of those, like, where you want to sit down, you want to just get a drink, and you just want to listen to the album. And I'm curious, which were the two that you didn't, like that you weren't the biggest fan of?
All right. I've heard this thing a couple of times, so, like, I might get all right. The first one is Leave the Door Open, right? That's the first single. Mm-hmm. Okay. So what's the second one?
Fly As Me.
Fly As Me, I'm not with that. Like
Gotcha.
that one's not so much for me. I think the other one I like the Thundercat one. The other one might have been Skate. It might have been here. I mean,
really?
I could just.
I like Skate. The other one.
No. It's not Skate. It's not Skate.
Is it 777?
Yes, it's 777.
Okay, those are the two that I was as well. I'm like, these are the weakest ones for me.
Yeah. It's 777. Yeah. Those two I might just like keep off the album completely, but everything else, man, I like it a lot. I like Smoking Out the Window in particular. That's the third single, I think.
That was technically the 4th single because they released the intro at the same time they did with Leave the Door Open. But yeah, that's the third like big single that came out.
Yeah. I like that one too. You're not much of a dancer, I take it, but I mean,
like I don't go to dance clubs and all that stuff, but like I'll dance in my
dude,
room.
I'm not talking about clubs. I'm talking like in the middle of the Walmart. You don't do that? No, I'm like, I'll be in the living room and I have it like playing on like my big speakers or whatever, and I just grab my partner and you just tell her to dance with you and you just start boogieing a little bit. Stuff like that is what I mean. I don't mean clubs. Wait, what club is playing this? I don't know, unless my interpretation of clubs is off, but I don't think this is what they're doing.
I mean, I've never been clubbing, so I don't know. But
oh man,
who knows? Maybe this is gonna start coming back. Maybe people are just gonna start.
No, man. People are on too many drugs. The wrong type of drugs. This requires a different type of drug, I guess. I'm also not a drug guy, but whatever.
No. I've been very pleased with this album so far. Like obviously it's 9 tracks. It's a lot shorter, and people were like getting upset about that. They're like, "We already heard half the album," and I'm like, "If the album's good, the album's good."
Yeah. So
what? Like Bruno did the same thing with the last one. It was 9 tracks. He released 4 singles. Like it's the same thing with like albums in general.
Aside from it like feeling very clean, it also feels like classic and traditional in a way because there is instrumentation that is allowed to breathe, something that doesn't happen so often these days. Like you can like notice when there's real musicianship going into some of the songs here, and it is. So I'm always a fan of that. I don't think there was any scenario where I wasn't gonna like this album, to be honest.
Me neither. I think like, cause like before this week, I was just like, oh yeah, the album's coming. And then this week hit and I'm like, the album's Friday. Like it's here. Yeah. And so like, I've been like going back and listening to the 3 singles, preparing myself. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think there is a way where I don't like this album. It's one of those things where I'm just like, everything that I've heard from the 2 of them and then from the, duo Silk Sonic, I'm like, this is preparing to be easily album of the year for me personally. I'm like, I don't think there's a way where this isn't my favorite album for this year. It's just that good.
I can't do all that. I mean, because I don't know how much music you listen to, but I listen to like so much music. So I'm not going all that far, and I've heard the album twice, so I'm not ready to do all that. But it's an enjoyable listen, and there was no way that these 2 artists were gonna have anything less than that.
No,
I think it's good.
I think it's good too.
It might be great. I just need more time with it, like to get into it really, because my experience with it has been so limited.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable. I mean, mine isn't the vastest either, but I listened to it 1.5 times pretty much, maybe 2 because I might have skipped around through the singles and stuff. But It's good. It's enjoyable. I was talking with a couple other friends who were like preparing for it, and they're like, "There's gonna be a lot of August babies next year that are born to this album." And I'm like, after hearing After Last Night, which is the Thundercat one, I'm like, "There's definitely gonna be a lot of August babies next year."
Yeah, I just love seeing songs that are 4 minutes like that. That's like amazing because music isn't made in that way anymore, right? They condense it as much as possible to fit more stuff in playlists, to just get more replays. And I don't know. The industry's like in a weird spot with streaming and people doing what they have to do to get the numbers that they feel they need. But 4 minute songs aren't like super common anymore. So it's really good to see. I think the album has like 3 or 4 of them at least, where you're, a few minutes have passed by and you're like, wait, whoa, this is the same song. Oh my God, it's a 4 minute and 15 song. 4 minute and 15 second song. That's amazing.
Yeah. No,
it's sad that that's where we are. Like, if you're like a fan of music, where we just don't see things like that so much these days. But it is what it is.
yeah. I think like I just looked through them. I think there's 3 or 4 of them that are like over 4 minutes long, which is good. And I mean, not to like start going into this topic because I have this topic with the girls next week, but the Taylor Swift album, like 30 tracks, one of them is 10 minutes long.
Yo, I'm a big fan of 10-minute long songs. That's cool.
Sure.
But not when there's 29 other songs on the album.
Yeah. It's just, sometimes shorter is better. And I think this is 7 great tracks, 2 good tracks. And I think that's perfectly fine. I would rather take that ratio than a lot of the others that people are batting. Like Drake releasing a 21 song album. Donda was like 26, 27 songs. I'm like, we don't need all that.
Look, they play a different game. Like,
They do play a different game.
What Drake is doing and what Silk Sonic is doing is they're literal polar opposites as far as music. And Drake is streaming more than any human in history, right? So I understand what he's doing, right? But I don't think quality of what's being streamed is the top thing being thought about over there. Like, these guys are just having a fucking blast, just like making music with each other, and they're like legitimately friends. So it just like, it feels like completely different. I get it though. I get it. But I always wonder, do other genres, because I listen to R&B and I listen to rap, right? Not like friendly rap, but those are especially like R&B. Like R&B has like, some decently like long albums right now too. It's one of the two things. It's like super long or it's super short. Like super short, like 6-7 songs. I'm trying to see how long this Summer Walker album is that just came out.
Yeah, the average from the albums that I've seen this year have been 11 tracks consistently. It's been 11, 13 tracks-ish. But, like, going off of that point, it might be 11 tracks, but those songs are maybe, like, 3 to 2 minutes each. Like, they're short. And so it's like, you want to get more plays, so you'll just create shorter songs. And it is nicer that this one is about 40 minutes, I think, and it's 9 tracks, each one, 3 to 4 minutes. And so I like that. I'd rather have this album versus some of the other ones that have come out this year. Yeah. And I guess that's it for Silk Sonic. I mean, like, it's a good album. Everyone should go listen to it. It's 9 tracks. It's short, but you don't really have an excuse not to. It's not going to be, and I'm throwing the shade again, it's not going to be a 30-song long Taylor Swift album with...
Oh, dude, that's what I was telling you, man. The Summer Walker album, which I like a lot, it's like 20 songs, but the songs are shorter sometimes. Like, so like it kind of evens things out. It just like throws more at you, like sonically, just because things change so often. There's 20 different songs, but it's a good album too. I know you don't like R&B so much, but Summer Walker's album's great.
If you get broken up
with recently, go listen to that.
Speaking of that, there was a song on. It's funny because like the song that they released before the album came out, which was "Smoking Out the Window," was a very like comedic song about like, man, this girl's taking all my money, she's taking my life, she's ruining all this other stuff. But then the song before it on the album is like this really sad, like emotional song about like, I only smile when I think of you and all this other stuff. I'm like, that's just funny to think of.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. You just mentioned it. It's a well-rounded album too, but I think we've said enough about Silk Sonic. It's great. Go listen.
Agreed. Speaking about things that are great, we have both been playing Forza Horizon 5, which, folks of the podcast know that I'm a big Xbox guy. I'm a big Xbox Game Pass. Phil, call me, please. Every episode, we bring up Phil Spencer and Xbox
He
Game
hasn't called
Pass.
you? I'll tell him
No,
to call you.
Phil hasn't called me. Listen, Gabe, if you could do that, that would be great.
I've been in a room with Phil Spencer. I've never spoken with him.
Yeah. You've also been in rooms with like Miyamoto, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I talked to Miyamoto.
Yeah, you talked with Miyamoto. You and Zach talked with Miyamoto.
Yeah. We talked with him. Well, not really. We talked to a translator who then talked to him, and it was a triforce of speaking. But yeah.
Yeah. But Forza Horizon 5 is the latest in the Forza Horizon series. Forza usually has 2 games. They have Motorsport, which is the more serious, racing, race cars kind of
simulator. It's a simulator.
Yeah, and then you also have Horizon, which is the arcadey festival kind of game. And so I've played Horizon 2, 3, and some of 4. I also played the Fast and Furious Horizon that they had, just cause
because you're family.
Family, exactly. Listen, they bring that up like the first 5 minutes of the game. Horizon's about family. But going into this one, I was excited, because it was from Mexico and we're Mexicans.
Yeah. But I was born in Mexico.
Exactly, yeah. But also like it's another Horizon game, and these usually look really good visually. And so like I loaded it up, and that first drop, when you drop out of the plane and you're just going around a volcano, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good game.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you the ones I've played before. I've dabbled a lot. I can't say that racing is my like favorite genre of games, but I've dabbled like a lot. I've probably played a couple hours of most of them, including Motorsport.
Yeah, I've only played like maybe an hour of Motorsport. Like those don't grab me because those are closer to simulation racing games.
Yeah, those are real hardcore, dude. They're like they're way too hardcore. Horizon is more my thing out of the 2. It is, but I don't know if I touched 4, but I played 3 a decent amount. Played 2 some. I played 1. Yeah, so I've played most of them. And in Mexico, man.
Yeah, this is
it's beautiful, dude. Like what? Like the first thing you got to say about it, like it's the thing that stands out the most. Anytime anyone sees it, like Jesus, this is gorgeous. It's ridiculous because when I was playing games when I was a kid, like on my NES or my SNES or whatever, you're like, oh, this looks so cool, right? And then the 64 happened, and you think, well, I was what, 10? No, I was younger. I was like 8, 7 when the 64 dropped. That was 98. Yeah, so I might have been like 7. And you think to yourself at 7 years old, like, this is it. We have reached peak graphics. It's never going to look any better like than this. And now, like, some of the screenshots, like, you get confused if they're like real life or not. If you add the right filters and stuff, like this, it's not quite photorealistic, but it's damn near close.
Yeah. No, 100%. I was dabbling with the photo mode the other day, and I took a photo of an old like Porsche on a beach with like the sunset, and so I put a sepia filter on it, and then like I just
went outside and took a picture of your Porsche by your beach.
Exactly. Yeah. I took the photo. I took a photo next to my beach, but I took that photo, and then I sent it to some people, and they're like, "Wow, that's a really good photo. Is that real?" And I'm like, "No, it's from a video game." Like it's just, it just looks really good. And I'm running this on my mid PC, like low, not like on low, it's on medium. I tried to run it on high, and it was actually running really well. It was running 60 FPS perfectly fine for the most part. But then it said like, oh, video storage low. So I was like, fine, I'll just put it to medium. And even still at medium, perfect 60 hasn't dropped once really, except for like cutscenes for some reason. But other than that, like it's just run beautifully and it looks gorgeous. And I know people that have been playing it on Series X and they're just like, it looks fantastic. And I'm like, good.
I've been playing on my not mid-range PC and with extreme settings, and I believe I'm like at 130 FPS. Whatever. I was gonna want to lock it to 120, but Jesus Christ, this thing. But you don't need 120 FPS for this, by the way. As long as you can run at 60, you're fine. But the extreme quality with the graphics, it's beautiful. I've tried it in 4K, but it's more uncomfortable because my 4K, it's a TV that I plug into the computer. It's off like in a weird angle. So I'd rather play in 1440p because my main monitor is 1440p. So that's mainly what I've been playing at. And like for me, the first thing is I've been to Mexico like a fair bit because, again, born there. I want to see where this part of Mexico, like where are these parts of the Mexico that I've seen? Mexico
Right?
is beautiful. Mexico is beautiful. It's a beautiful country. It is. But I haven't seen whatever I'm driving here in Forza. Like I haven't seen this. I want to go see that.
Yeah, because like we're like they would say like a la frontera, like we're at the border and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
So like
yeah,
we're not down in Mexico City or like all these big,
Yeah,
like
no.
Guadalajara or any of like these big places. Like
Yeah.
I've been to some of them, but it's really interesting because I think this is just like an amalgamation of like things in Mexico, or maybe just like, hey, Mexico in quotation marks. But I've never seen volcanoes or any of this stuff. I know they exist. I know that they're down there, but it's like going to that point. What I found like really good about the game is just like I can just drive and I'll end up in the desert or in the jungle on snow. I'll just go climb up a mountain. It was really funny because I was driving for some like task or whatever, and I started going up the mountain, and it reminded me of Skyrim because hey, 10th anniversary of Skyrim, happy birthday to you.
It's out now.
It's out now, yeah. But it just reminded me of that thing where Todd was like, you see that mountain, you can go climb it. And I started climbing a mountain with my car. Like, it's just like one of those like fun
When you
things.
say that, like I picture like your car is a transformer and arms come out and it has like those pickaxes for you to climb. You didn't climb them. You drove up a mountain, man. Come on.
I drove up a mountain. Okay,
You didn't
but
climb it.
I climbed a mountain. Okay, no, but just like driving up random terrains. Have you seen those clips of where they're hiding the XP boards inside like the phone lines or just like in the most random places?
Dude, that's my favorite thing to do. Get the XP boards. Like,
No,
like,
100%. It gives you that serotonin boost because you're like, all right, XP board means I get another wheel spin, which means I get another car. Like I love the game.
It's like the Riddler trophies from Batman. Probably City is the one I can compare it the most to, where you have to like do some like weird stuff to get to these. Like sometimes the billboard will be like on top of this house that you have to like drive off a cliff to get to. It's crazy. I haven't spent like so much time with progressing like story stuff at all. Have you messed with that?
I think I've unlocked every like event that you can do. Like, you have like the Apex, the street racing, all those other things. So I think I've unlocked all of them, but a couple of them I've done like the first two or so. One I just unlocked was the Lucha Libre one. So I'm like working my way through that one right now. But yeah, I've played. The story isn't really a story. It's really just, hey, set up events, do races, and keep going. And I like that personally. I know
because
a lot of
you're
people.
a superstar driver.
Yeah, you're a superstar. You're the same driver from Horizon 4. And so, like, they just bring all that over through here, like, continuing that storyline. But Horizon isn't really about a story. It's not how some people are saying, like, a car PG, like Need for Speed Underground or, like, those kinds of things.
The Run.
I've never played The Run.
Oh, man. Cops are chasing you, man. You got to get out of the car and do quick time events.
No, I've never played that. I have played Need for Speed Underground, though. So, like, I know people are like, I want to work my way through, starting with a really bad car and then upgrading it or, like, earning my
You don't have any bad cars in the
No,
beginning.
you don't. You start, like, I started off, like, I'm at 40 cars right now. I've played 8 hours. And it's just, like, because, like, I guess because I've played other games, they're just like, all right, here's 2 Ferraris or, like, here's 2 McLarens because you've played, like, previous games. And I'm just like, ooh, cool. So, like, you just get cars really quick in the game. You get, fast cars. You get cash really fast in the game, so you can buy a bunch of. I bought every Corvette in the game because Corvettes are my favorite car. So I had enough money to get all of them, except for one of them because one of them is a barn find. But I got all the Corvettes like 2 hours into the game. I'm just like, no, these are my cars that I want, and I was able to get them really quickly.
Once you like find a couple cars that you really like, I don't even understand. I'm not a car guy, to like be fair. It's not my thing. I have no expertise on it. I probably have needed to change my oil for like 6 months. I just refuse to do it. I'm joking, but it's been a while. So I don't personally understand like trying to like unlock like all the. You're not gonna drive all the cars, especially not at the same time. So I don't. The other thing I want to bring up, I don't know if you saw on Reddit. There's this thing going around with that old Jeep that they do. There's a farming technique with this like super cheap Jeep. I don't know what you do. I haven't done it, so I don't know the specifics of it, but they're all over the place. People are just finding a ton of them.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
I've seen people do like 50-lap races that will take them 11 hours, and they get like 154 wheel spins, which is essentially like 154 levels. And like, I'm just like, geez, How do you just sit there and just go for 11
How many hours did you say?
11.
11 hours?
Yeah, it took this person 11 hours to do 50 laps for some race.
Think of the most magnificent thing in the world, whatever it is. Some people would say like, "Oh, sex with so and so," whatever. That's probably where people's head goes. Well, that's where my head went at least. Maybe I'm just a perv. I'm not. But like the most magnificent thing that you can think of doing, and then doing it for 11 hours, that instantly kills it. I don't want to do anything for 11 hours. Sleep is the one thing.
Sleep is good. Yes, I
yeah.
agree with
That's the only thing. What else like gives people like euphoric feelings other than like drugs? Jeez, I'm trying to think of something.
Know. I mean, like I watched 6 movies on Sunday, so that was like my entire day of just sitting down and watching.
Jesus,
movies.
What movies were they?
I watched Begin Again, Sound of Metal, The Way Back, Coda, which is the Apple TV Plus one. Yeah. Hearts Beat Loud, which is on Hulu, and there was one more that I watched, but I can't remember it.
I saw Eternals.
Oh yeah, you saw Eternals, and you were not the biggest fan of it.
Nah, man, that movie's bad. No, it's not even bad. It's just like mediocrity.
Yeah,
it's a mediocrity. It's the definition of it. But whatever. I'm not talking about Eternals. Forza's cool. Forza's not mediocre.
No, Forza's good.
Dude, they release these games too often though. Like, similar to Marvel, I just brought up Eternals. The thing about these games is that they're gorgeous, right? And they're fun to play. The gameplay is really good. The racing feels good. But like, I don't know how structurally different this is than the last one. You still just unlock icons on a giant map and go do them. I couldn't tell you what changed other than like the setting and like some of the weather stuff, I guess. And like, do you know what else changed?
So between 3, 4, and 5, they've had a very similar structure of just setup event, maybe there's like 8 of them. I think here it's like 6 or 7 like different events or whatever. And so like you just go set those up and then you're just racing for the Horizon Festival, which is their big thing. That's been the same sort of, I don't want to say like goal, but it's been the same loop for the past 3 games. But I guess what like makes it different is just how much more interactivity they add with them, because if you look back at like the original games, they're really just like, all right, here's your races, but you're in an urban, like you're in modern places and all this other stuff. Whereas here they're much more like, all right, there's a sandstorm, go run into it. Here's like songs that'll give you double XP. Here's bowling pins that you can go create in the lab. Like here's races that are made by other people. Here's a battle royale mode that you can do with your friends. Like it's way more of interaction.
But that's all user created.
Yes, it's like Forge for Halo. Like it's that same thing, but with cars. So like going to your point, yes, it is essentially the same thing. But I've seen a lot of people that are really into Forza and the like cars aspect of it, saying like the handling is way better, the tuning is way more precise. On top of like the graphics just looking good, it's way more reactive. The weather patterns actually feel like they're changing and not just like different locations. Like people that have played Forza are very impressed with this new Forza for providing different things that they actually wanted. So I'm going to take their word on it and say like, good for them. But to your point, yeah, they release these every like 2-3 years. It's not a yearly release like Call of Duty, which this year I've heard is very bad.
It's close, dude. Well, I mean, Horizon itself isn't yearly, but while Horizon is being made, they'll release Motorsport. So
usually I don't think they released another Motorsport between 4 and 5 or 3 and 4. I think the last one was between 2 and 3, and that was 7.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but yeah.
And I'm going to touch on Marvel for a second, just because there's a correlation. When you do something, even if you do it really, really well, but you do it over and over and over and over and over again, like some of the luster, some of the impressiveness, like wears away with time. Eternals would have been an amazing movie if we hadn't had like 40 other I know that's probably not 40, but a lot of other superhero movies beforehand. They're all like so similar, and with something like Forza, since I only dabble, I like it every single time. Like I love it. One thing I will say, the online is terrible. Not because it's bad. I'm terrible at the online. I can't get anything better than 7th place. I wish I was better at it, but I suck. And that's my main complaint about Forza, that I suck. I want to be better.
No, yeah, 100% agreed.
I consistently beat your little ghost. What do they still call them? Drivatars?
Yeah,
I don't know what
the
they call them.
Drivatars.
Yeah, I always beat yours. That's always my main goal. Beat Manny, because I see yours out there. I'm like, oh, I see him. It's not really him, but I'm gonna beat him. Yeah.
Max was streaming it, and every time I was just beating him, like my Dravatar, because I was like watching him play it, and every time I would just see my Dravatar come in first place. I'm like, look, it's me. It's me.
Oh no, nah, dude, I beat the hell out of your Drivatar. What difficulty do you play on? I play not normal. I play on the one above normal. I think it's called above normal.
So I went from average to above average.
That's the one I play.
To like slightly difficult or whatever it's called, like the one above average. That's what I'm at right now.
Oh, okay.
So the one right below expert, and I'm like, I still like the game, but the races are harder, and I'm like, I might just bring it back down to above average. Just
yeah, above average is where I'm comfortable. I'm always first.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you know, I could push myself, but I'm just having fun driving the cars and doing races, and I'm just like, I'd rather keep that instead of start getting frustrated with the game. But going to your point about like the Forza games becoming yearly release, not yearly releases, but every other year, every 2-3 years or so. I'm curious how they're gonna start doing them going forward, because Playground Games is working on Fable. So I'm curious how they're gonna break that up now.
Well, Turn 10 would just make Motorsport. What is it? 8 now, I guess.
8, yeah.
Yeah,
because we saw Turn 10 had the logo on here, so I'm curious as to if Turn 10 is going to start taking over.
I'm sure they're intermingled and they help each other out a fair bit. Yeah, look, we got Horizon now. We won't get Horizon again for a couple of years. In the meantime, we'll get Motorsport, and Fable will happen when Fable happens. I don't know if that has to be the main thing over there now. I guess
I imagine it is. I mean, it's been quote unquote in development for 4 years. The report said so. Maybe we see something at the Game Awards, and then they say late 2022 for Fable. Maybe. I doubt it, but I mean, Geoff Keighley somehow gets random things somehow.
Dude, do I have things to say about Geoff Keighley.
Well, you have a lot of things to say about a lot of people, Gabe.
Yeah, no, I like Geoff. Jeff's great. I just want to know why he's the guy, and how did this happen?
I think because he pushed really hard. I think he
sure, dude. All the pushing in the world isn't going to pay for this. I was texting back and forth with Zach about it yesterday. How the hell did Geoff Keighley become him? He's awesome. I love him. He's fantastic at what he does. But what's his job? Like, what does he do for a living?
I think he's. That's the thing that I was talking about with like my co-host either like last week or 2 weeks ago. Like we were talking about Geoff Keighley and stuff, and we were saying like, what does he do? Like he's just a person that we feel wants to be in the industry, so he keeps doing these things to make himself like, oh yeah, I'm associated with this. But it's like you don't develop. No, games.
Dude, he makes a ton of money. He makes a ton of money.
Yeah, like you don't make games. You don't. Like, you're not a journalist per se, because you're not like for a publication. Like you'll get scoops from Kojima or Sakurai or something for the Game Awards. But are you just a host? Are you just a personality for video games? Is that what you are?
He's a host. He hosts 3 or 4 times a year. But other than like how much are you getting paid that you can do? And a lot of work goes into these things, like time and preparation goes into them for sure. But where did he get the money for this? Even the first Game Awards, like I don't know if there is an answer out there. Like the best I can come up with is like major developers like just like said, hey, like we know Geoff, like he's gonna do a good job. We like his vision and whatever. But all he does is the Game Award. He'll do like E3 stuff and Summer Games Fest, and he has to do some consulting here or there, because if not, his year is just like an awful lot of relaxing too. And I'm sure he's like incredibly busy, especially this time.
Oh no, sure, yeah. I'm like this is not a slight against Geoff Keighley. We're just genuinely curious.
I am confused to no end by Geoff Keighley's existence in the industry. Like, why him? Why did he become the guy? If I decided just want to say like, hey guys, I'm about to just be, let's pretend Geoff Keighley doesn't exist, and I want to host the Game Awards, it's not a feasible thing. Like, I gotta look into his history, I guess, because I don't know enough about him. But like, was he on?
I imagine
was he ever?
Did. I I think he was a journalist beforehand. Like
Yeah,
I don't
probably
like I
him.
don't know his full history of stuff, but I think he was a journalist back in the early days. And then I guess he just kept those connections and people like him and you know, just
No,
more
he seems
games.
super likable. He seems like a great dude. Like, I'm not questioning him. It's just like, how did this guy become the guy? Because he is Mr. He had the Game Awards, the like legitimate big Game Awards are him. Like, what? It's ridiculous. I mean, hey, good for him though.
No, yeah, good for Jeff. I mean, we keep getting announcements for games. Speaking about like the Game Awards and games, you like Jedi Fallen Order, right?
I love it.
Okay,
It's the best Star Wars thing I've ever experienced.
because I'm trying to convince my co-host because he doesn't want to play Jedi Fallen Order because he says it doesn't look like my type of game, and I'm like, what about it doesn't look like? He's like, well, you know, like Souls like, and I'm like, it's barely Souls like, it's like baby
Yeah,
Souls like, and I'm just like,
yeah, it's
I'm like,
barely.
my friend who doesn't like Star Wars like loves the game, says it was his favorite game of the year that he played it. He would have said it was the favorite like game of the year, but he didn't play it that year.
Yeah. The only like legitimately hard thing is Uncle Bungo.
Uncle Bungo.
What's his name? I don't know his actual name.
Man, I completely forgot. But I know
Whatever-
what you're talking about.
whatever-
Yeah,
whatever that dude-
the
whatever
giant
the frog
frog
with
on
the tongue
Zepho,
is.
yeah.
I couldn't tell you the names of any of this stuff, but yeah, Uncle Bungo is the only hard thing, and you don't even have to fight him really.
You don't. And you don't have to fight him at the beginning of the game either, but both of us did.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of how I do. Dude, I'm gonna play Elden Ring tomorrow. What's the day? Friday?
Ooh,
No. Yeah,
nice.
tomorrow. I'm excited for that. Yeah, no, but your friend needs to try out Fallen Order. It's the best Star Wars thing ever made.
No, I'm telling you, I keep trying to say, like, play Fallen Order. It's on, and plus, you don't even have to pay for it. It's on Game Pass. It's on
man.
Game Pass.
Yeah. It's great.
It's one of those great games. You know, like,
Milo's going off over there. Can you hear Milo?
I can hear Milo a little bit. What a little dog.
Yeah, he probably saw a cat outside the window. He's not having a good time.
But while we're still on the topic of Game Pass, like, it's wild. Like, it's not wild that this is releasing on Game Pass because, you know, Microsoft Studios and all that stuff, and Microsoft has unlimited pools of money that they can just throw at stuff. But, like, everyone is, I don't want to say like everyone's starting to see Game Pass for what it really is because it's been the conversation for the last year or so. But everyone's like, if Halo is gonna release the way that Forza has, like very polished, very clean, like Game Pass is like already the best deal in gaming, but it's gonna be even more because if they're gonna start releasing PlayStation like games, like AAA style games on Game Pass,
It's gonna take
Dang.
a while.
I think it is going to take a while, but I think it's going to be shorter than what most people are expecting because I don't know. I just have this feeling like Xbox has something up their sleeves on top of them just buying companies and just saying like, cool, we're just going to take your game and say it's ours now, like Hellblade and all these other, or like a Plague's Tale 2, and just saying like, cool, we're just going to take your game and say it's ours. But I am curious to see like how long it really does take for them to start hitting their stride because I mean, Microsoft has had a good year. They had Psychonauts, they had Forza, they had Flight Simulator launch on Xbox, and Age of Empires 4, which is on PC. But each of their games is completely different and for a different genre. Whereas, here comes the PlayStation hater in me. I'm not a PlayStation hater. But if you look at PlayStation exclusives, they're all mostly third-person, action-adventure, story-based games. Like, that's the formula that PlayStation has had for the last
it's what they
5-6
do.
years. No, yeah, it's what they do. And they do it phenomenally. But, like, going to your point, it is that thing of, like, they do something different each time with the game to make it interesting. You know, whereas something
Gran Turismo's coming.
yeah, Gran Turismo is coming. But next year we have Forza, Gran Turismo, Horizon, and God of War.
Yeah.
And those are three great games. You don't think God of War's coming out next year?
I don't think anything's coming when it says it is. I don't know what you've seen.
That's true.
Like,
No, I saw that
don't-
report this morning about like, oh, PlayStation says that they're making even less PS5s now because of chip shortages and all this other stuff. And I'm like, oh, joy. That's great.
Yeah.
That's the news
Dude,
we want to hear.
I don't think anything's happening. Nothing. Just go to sleep. No, but the cool thing about Xbox, like that they I forgot which one of the three it is, but one of the Grand Theft Auto games is on. I think it's San Andreas.
It's San Andreas. It's
it's on
the best one according to most people.
Yeah. Well, people like Vice City too. So I mean, who knows? Yeah, I mean, I love Game Pass. Like, what can you possibly say about it that isn't great?
No, yeah, 100%. No, I'm with you. Folks, I think that's going to be pretty much it. We talked about what we wanted to talk about. We talked about Silk Sonic. We talked about Forza and Game Pass and video games as a whole. Gabe, if you want to let people know where they can find you, let them know.
Under my bed, hiding from the monsters all around me. No, HereBeGabe on YouTube and Twitter, and that's pretty much it. I don't really mess around with too many other platforms.
No, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you can find me Twitter, Star Wars 9. You can find me, I guess, Twitch, because sometimes we do stuff on there. I think we're going to be doing a Halo stream
I've seen you.
out.
I've seen you, man.
Yeah.
I lurk sometimes for like 5 minutes. I always like feel bad with you and Landon specifically. I'll see you guys streaming, so like I want to watch for like 5 minutes, but then I'm like, oh man, I know I only have like 5 minutes.
Nah, you good, brother. Don't worry about it. You don't worry about it. You've done a lot for us. You gave us this beautiful community where we met a lot of people.
There you go.
But yeah, you can go follow the Twitch, which is Infinite Manny. Twitter, Star Wars Nerd 9. Make sure you listen to the YouTube channel, which is Nick and Manny's Infinite Podcast. Same thing. And that's going to be it for us. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.